Welcome back. The Department of Justice's recent release of millions of pages of documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has now led to a wave of resignations and scrutiny over high-profile executives around the world. That includes a top lawyer at Goldman Sachs, the CEO of Dubai's largest port, and a former president of Harvard University. Now, we should note that being mentioned in the documents does not necessarily indicate wrongdoing. Still, though, some lawmakers are calling for more transparency from the DOJ. Here's what Democratic representative and ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, Robert Garcia, said yesterday on Face the Nation.
This is a massive cover-up being led by the White House and the DOJ. The fact that 50%, half of the Epstein files, have not been released to the public and to the Congress. And of those that have been released, the actual files that have been out in the public or that we've seen, they're overly redacted. Many of the survivors and victims, their names are actually appearing, so there's no protection for the survivors. Yet the names of billionaires, the names of folks that could be co-conspirators, that helped fund Jeffrey Epstein, that could have actually been involved in the terror and rape, as we know, abuse of women and children, some of those names continue to be redacted and protected.
So for more on this, let's bring in CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen. So, Jake, Attorney General Pam Bondi sent a letter over the weekend to Congress with a long list of names appearing in those files. But we should note that doesn't mean the person was convicted of any crime. So what do these new resignations tell us?
Well, it's also, as Congressman Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, two of the people who led this Epstein Files Transparency Act, they've accused the Department of Justice of muddying the waters, Vlad and Chanel, because there are names like Elvis and Janis Joplin, who died dozens of years ago, also in these files, and some of the names of high-profile individuals, including people like Sultan Ahmad bin Suleiman, one of those massive moguls from the Middle East who was removed from his position, are not listed in some of these files, including that list sent Saturday night by the Department of Justice. You know, we've seen this slow trickle over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, these files mostly came out in December. We've been working as a CBS News team to continuously review more documents as they've come in and as new information has come to light. But at the same time, you know, the corporate sector has moved faster, certainly, than Congress has in terms of holding anyone who's currently in the government to account. And there's really limited levers for people in Congress to kind of pull on this front. The Department of Justice says that these files were released in their full entirety of what they legally had to produce. Lawmakers are not satisfied, and I'm not sure this story is going to go away. We should note to our audience that there are congressional committees currently conducting their own review, but we even saw early last week, Ghislaine Maxwell, the one person who's been held accountable at a legal level by the federal government, said that she's not willing to even cooperate in that probe unless she's granted clemency or pardoned by President Trump.
All right. So, Jake, the DOJ has also said it released all of the files required by the Epstein Transparency Act, but lawmakers and victims say it's insufficient. So how many more documents are actually left?
They're about 2.5 million to 3 million, Vlad, depending on kind of how you've been counting these numbers. We don't know for sure. As you heard Representative Garcia say there, he's accusing the Department of Justice with the cover-up by saying that there are all these documents that are not released. The Department of Justice, on the other hand, says that a lot of these files are child sexual abuse material, medical records, and any other material that could potentially jeopardize any ongoing investigation. We've heard Deputy Attorney General Todd Bland say there are no investigations pending. We heard Attorney General Pam Bondi say that there are investigations pending. It's kind of unclear where all of this stands. And at the same time, what a lot of lawmakers really want are those internal deliberative memos between the Department of Justice and prosecutors in the early 2000s and also in the later stage of the mid-2010s when Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were actually being charged and prosecuted federally about what decisions were made about who to charge and who not to charge relating to Jeffrey Epstein and those in his orbit. That is what lawmakers say they have been seeking in a lot of this, and that's what the Department of Justice says is potentially privileged, and that's why it's not going to come out for now.
Okay, Jake Rosen, thank you.